Here's the end of the walkway. Which way do I go? To the left or to the right? I think it goes to the right here. Yeah, there's a left. I'll go to the left. There is a right path here, but I'm going to follow this one up. Slowly take my time. I'm in no rush today. It's a nice day, slightly humid, overcast. Not a lot of people out here today, but it's very, very nice. You can see that the leaves are already starting to fall, or could be the leaves from last year. But yeah, it's pretty nice out here today. Here you can see how they quarried the stone. You see those lines, those lines that are really, those are all chip marks right there as they're slowly getting into it. There's a huge slab that looks as if they were going to cut off, but they never did. You get that huge piece like way up there at the very top. It's just kind of moving around. So this is just one area where they quarried a lot of that stone that were used for many different places in Washington, D.C., to actually include the White House. So yeah, this is one of the quarry spots here. You can see a lot of the remnants that are just kind of there on the ground. Interesting place, so close to where I live. I think this is about the second or third time I've been here. Such an amazing place, such an amazing history. As you look at the initials there for a stonemason, his name is Robert Stewart, S-T-E-U-A-R-T. He was a stonemason from Baltimore, Maryland. Stewart delineated his parcel with 4 stone boundary markers, the largest of which still remains and is clearly marked with his initials R.S. It's located nearby to this sign. So, and there it is right there. Robert Stewart. For those of us that like to hike, this is a pretty gentle trail. There's a few ups and downs, but it's pretty well delineated as to where the path goes. And it's also a good small training hike. I think the total is maybe like 2.5 miles, maybe 3. I'm not really sure. I'll have to go back and check. But it's pretty peaceful. It's pretty quiet. I don't have a backpack on. In fact, I don't even have my hiking trousers on. I just got a pair of work in the yard trousers with my hiking shoes. I do have my poles, just in case, but I really don't need them out here. The ground is soft. It just feels real good. As I walk through this area, I can only anticipate some of the other harder climbs that I will be experiencing in the future. This right here is really nothing, this small hike. I think my friend Wander with Sam has toppled many other higher points that I'm even getting close to experience today. But the uphills are gentle, the downhills are nice. Yeah, here we go, just for a little bit of a downhill. Again, like I said, the trails are pretty well marked. You can see where other people have been walking and things like that. So if I was a little bit more of a botanist, I'd stop and tell you about some of the trees and what kind they are. But I'm not there yet. Still slowly learning, because that's something I'd like to be able to describe on my hikes as to what kind of trees I'm seeing, what kind of brush I'm seeing, whether it's poisonous or not. You know, poison ivy, poison oak. Then there's always the cool ferns that grow. I think those things are so neat, so very symmetrical in the way they are formed. Yeah, just a gentle trail, and we'll just keep on trucking along. Now, way back when, there was a Native American presence, as the sign says. Native American artifacts were recovered in various locations on Government Island. The largest concentration of artifacts was found overlooking Aquia Creek. A rare Clovis projectile point was found, indicating that Paleo-Indians were present in this area prior to 8000 BC. Paleo-Indians likely operated out of temporary camps located near high-quality stone supplies and areas plentiful with game, where they carved their points and tools, as well as hunted and gathered food. Other recovered artifacts include Madison and Lavana projectile points and Townsend ceramic shards, indicate that Native Americans were present in this area between 1200 BC and AD 1600. So in 1608, European explorer Captain John Smith mapped the Potomac River and its tributaries and negotiated trade with the Potawatomi Indians. Yes, I did say that correctly, who were prevalent in this area. Smith traveled up Aquia Creek, noting it was Kiwaya, Algonquin for gulls. He referred to Kiwaya twice in his papers, once when describing the creek and again when naming the Indian village on its south side. I mean, so much history, so many artifacts, such cool stuff in this area. And sometimes people just need to take the time and come on out and see what's basically right in their backyard. By the way, this area is, like, depending on how the crow flies, probably less than 1.5 miles if I have to drive, maybe about 2.5 miles. So it's not really that far, but it's a great area. Oh wait, they even have benches where you could sit down and just kind of relax if it gets a little tasking for you. But yeah, hey, let's keep on moving. Well, I've basically come full circle on the trail, and I'm going to come back to the walk here. Remember, this is where I got to the point where I got to, and I headed off to the left instead of to the right. So this is where it comes right back to. So let me go back the opposite direction, and let me get back to the parking lot and get myself something to drink and just to cool down just a little bit. So some of you may be wondering how this particular site here in Stafford County, Virginia was selected to get this stone. Well, let me give you a little bit of history here. 1791, President George Washington, who was raised in Stafford County, 10 miles south of this site at Ferry Farm, appointed 3 commissioners to oversee construction of the new federal capital city, later named Washington, D.C. The commissioners sent Major Pierre Charles L'Enfant to survey the lands along the Potomac River for adequate deposits of freestone. L'Enfant selected Brent's Island for its bountiful supply of good quality freestone, proximity to the capital city, and accessibility for water transit. And because that's how they got it there. They didn't, they may have put some on wagons, but it was close to the river, so it was a lot easier just to put it on boats and just to take it up to Washington, D.C. on the Potomac. On December 2nd, 1791, L'Enfant purchased a quarry for the federal government. Thereafter, the site was known as the Public Quarry. Today, the site is commonly known as Government Island. The commissioners also contracted with other nearby private quarry owners to supply additional building material. The use of these quarries in addition to Government Island helped to further establish quarrying as an important industry in Stafford County. So here's a picture of Major Pierre Charles Lafont. And a little bit later on in some of his writings, in 1791, Lafont wrote to his assistant stating, "Repair immediately to Aquia Creek to see the quarries there belonging to the public, to have barracks erected upon thereon for 20 men on each of these quarries on the island purchased from Mr. George Brent." So we're basically right here. I don't see a "You Are Here" sticker or anything like that, but this is basically what Government Island looks like. And there is a little walkway that goes from, I would say, the left to the right there. So great information, great history, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later. All right, back on the hardball walk is slowly coming to an end. That was nice. I truly do enjoy that. Saw a few folks out there. And it's nice always to see people coming on out and hiking this trail because it's quiet. Overall, it's pretty safe. Don't have any issues. So here's one of our other signs, utilized by Native Americans for millennia, and purchased by the federal government in 1791. Government Island's unique stone was used in the original construction of both the U.S. Capitol and the White House. A quiet sandstone from this quarry was favored for its bright color, fine grained quality, and for ease and intricate carving. George Mason and George Washington were two of the quarry's most prominent clients. Government Island sandstone was also used for door and window trim, foundations, grave markers, churches, plantation homes, and other prominent buildings. Oh, by the way, Government Island, now a Stafford County park, is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and the Virginia Landmarks Register. It was dedicated November 6th, 2010. So, if you have an opportunity, come on down and visit us here in Stafford, Virginia, and walk the trail. It's nice, and it's a nice place to come to and just hang out. All right, that's it. Hey, like, comment, share, subscribe, and until next time, Rick out.